So, except for the final in November, 2013 Davis Cup is pretty much wrapped. And as we go through, we can just do a quick summary and say in Group 4, which just happened this past week, we had the promotions of Hong Kong and Singapore, who upset Qatar in the playoffs. And the Americas did not have a Group 4 this year. In Group 3, for the Americas, which happened in June, we had promotions of Bolivia and Paraguay, and there's no relegation because there's no Americas in Group 4. For Asia Oceania, which actually went off this week, we do have relegations because there is a Group 4 for them, and that the relegations were Pacific Oceania and Oman. The promotions were Vietnam, who was undefeated and great, and Hong Kong, who Hong Kong stated they should be in Group 2, so they are. In Europe, which went off in May, we have promotions of Greece and Norway, so Baghdadis is involved in that, and no, oh actually Baghdadis, I think he's still, maybe he's, actually I think it's Cyprus, they do have a country Cyprus, I'm sorry, never mind, Baghdadis is Cyprus, anyway, that's why he wasn't on the team, okay, anyway, so we have promotions there, and no relegations, and for Africa, which they split Europe and Africa up only in Group 3, Africa had promotions of Egypt and Morocco, no relegation. Group 2, which is full of promotions and relegation, we will see here the full draw here of Group 2, and as you can see, Puerto Rico and Haiti are relegated in the Americas, and just this week Venezuela had a great win over the rain delayed on Sunday, but over El Salvador. Up and coming Sudo and Rodriguez for Venezuela beat the Arevalo brothers, so they're going to Group 1. In Asia, Lebanon and Syria are relegated, with the Philippines a heartbreaker of a loss at home to New Zealand, and a 10-hour day on Sunday that ended around 2 in the morning. But New Zealand really should have wrapped it up sooner, but anyways, they were going to be promoted up to Group 1. In Europe, Africa, as we had Latvia with Galbis and Labidis, and Portugal, the clay quarters were able to do it on the indoor hard court, a heartbreaker by Albert, who played so great and hard for Moldova, but the young guy Dubarenko couldn't handle it, so they're staying back. Portugal moves up to 1, as does Latvia. Relegations, which happened earlier in April, Estonia is down, Tunisia, and that's including Jaziri, they're down. Hungary, who had lost earlier to Moldova, and a great one, Albert helping that one too. Anyways, they ended up losing to Luxembourg and Gilles Mueller as well. So they're down. They got, unfortunately, with Fusovics and some other good ones, they should be really in Group 2 at least, but they'll have to come back up. And there's Cyprus with Baghdadis. He helped them. I think he played in this one. Let's take a quick look. Yep. Okay. So there you go. So Cyprus. Oh. There we go. Cyprus and one over. So Benin is being relegated. So, Group 1. What the heck is this? The Americas look all screwed up. Let me see if I can get that straightened out. No. There's a screw up on the website here at Davis Cup. See how Asia... Wow. Oh no, that looks okay. Europe. Asia looks okay. The Americas all screwed up. Okay. Well, anyways, not sure what the heck they're doing here. Well, it's really hard to see what's going on because, well, we know this. Dominican Republic fought off the relegation. That was the only relegation. They fought it off, and they stayed in Group 1, and Chile is relegated, unfortunately. No Gonzo, and now they're down in Group 2. And for the actual promotion, it looks like it's between, I don't know what's going on here. Colombia just played, really not sure here. Let's move on. Because Colombia ended up... Oh, that's right. Colombia already won this promotion. That's what they were just playing. They were trying to get in the World Group for the first time. There we go. Sorry about all that. Ecuador lost that one. But anyway, Colombia, that was earlier in the year. Then they lost in their World Group, so they didn't get in. Relegation here. Taiwan this week knocked off Indonesia. Indonesia goes down. They're going to join Chile going on down. And then, sorry, we got that in there again. And in the Asia promotions, Australia and Japan, and they both won. So they're both in the World Group. They both won their World Group playoffs this week. So they're both up. So Colombia didn't make it, but these two, Japan and Australia, do. And Australia's back where they belong. Lastly, in Europe, we got slow internet. Okay. We had earlier in the year, Russia lost to Great Britain, so Great Britain had their chance, and they're moving. They won their World Group over undermanned Croatia, so they're in the World Group now. Poland couldn't do it against Australia, but they at least had a shot by beating South Africa. Holland did it. They're in for the first time in a couple of years. That's great. They're in the World Group. And Sweden lost, and then now they're in trouble. But anyways, Ukraine had to play Spain, so forget it, so they're back in Group 1. But two of the four got through into the World Group, so good stuff. South Africa and went all the way down, and Russia, both are all the way down, and now they have to play relegation. South Africa lost this week to Slovenia. Now they're playing relegation in October. And Denmark, who had lost... Who did they lose to? Romania earlier. Then Romania lost to the Netherlands. Anyway, Denmark is down, and they have to play now Sweden, who just lost to Slovak Republic this week. So Sweden and Denmark, we're going to play. Sweden without Soderling, that's going to be tough as usual, but they may be able to. Denmark doesn't have a lot. And then South Africa just depends on who plays for them and how fit they are. But Russia probably has a good chance of knocking South Africa all the way to Group 2, which is very disappointing. Kevin Anderson needs to get back on that team. Okay. And last but not least, now we had, so the World Group playoffs, we had Colombia from the Americans didn't get through, but Japan and Australia from Asia both did. And then here, two of the four, Britain, back where they belong, like Australia, and Holland got through. Poland and Ukraine did not. And by the way, there should be one more in the Americas that we're missing, and that's Ecuador. And that's because of that screwed up list we have here. See if we can make any sense of this. Oh, there it is. It's not really. Well, anyway, there it is. Colombia beat Uruguay, and then Ecuador beat Chile. And now Chile shot all the way down, and now they're relegated. Unbelievable. But anyway, Ecuador lost their World Group. That was just too much against Switzerland. So one of the two made it. So both of them in Asia made it into World Group. One of the two in Americas, and two of the four in Europe. So that's how all that worked out. And last but not least, the World Group and the way it played out. Spain lost right away to Canada. They were undermanned, but then they held on by winning the World Group this week, so with Nadal's help. Croatia lost to Italy, and then they got lost this week without Cilic, so they're relegated, so that's terrible. They're out of the World Group for the first time in a while. Belgium lost, but they had a great win over Israel this week. Israel lost and lost to Belgium, so they're out. They're not the same without Dudi Sela. He's getting older. They got to get off the clay. Smart clay pick by Belgium. Brazil lost to the USA in a tough one, and now they lost as an injured Bellucci in a bad matchup with the Dunlop Fort tournament ball against Germany. So Brazil goes all the way down. Israel goes all the way down. Spain, Belgium stay up. Croatia goes all the way down. Germany stays up. Good for them. Big win again at Dunlop Fort tournament ball this week. Austria goes all the way down. They're not fit. And Switzerland stays up, thanks to Wawrinka and company, and they need Federer next year. Kazakhstan had a win, and they lost to the Czech, but they're going to stay around. France lost, they'll be around. The USA lost to Serbia. Italy lost to Canada. And Canada was the real upstart this year, beating Spain, Italy, and really giving it to Serbia. And then the Czechs took care of Argentina in a real fast surface. So in November, in Serbia, probably on clay. It won't bother the Czechs too much, though. Czechs will have a shot. A lot's going to depend on how Djokovic is. A good Djokovic should mean a win for Serbia. A bad Djokovic, let's take a look at the history, and we'll show you why. Let's go back to 2010, where we have Serbia winning their first ever. France had the upset of Spain, who's the team of the decade from the 2000s. They had used a fast Gurf floor surface indoors that year, and it was too slippery quick on Spain. It was low bouncing, so they had the upset. Then they beat Argentina in a great one, again on their home surface. But then they had to go to Serbia, and Serbia took care of the business. But it was a great one, a comeback. Troicki and Djokovic made a big comeback there over Monfils and company. And then in that year, Serbia beat the Czechs in the semifinals, and now they play them again in the final. So that was 2010. Then we look here at 2011. Spain got their revenge on France. Where do we see that? Down here. Because it was in Spain, of course, on clay. Serbia lost to Argentina. That's where Djokovic got hurt. Was that the year he got hurt? Yeah, and Del Potro did the business. That's right. So Djokovic twisted his leg, whatever. It's just too much tennis. And then Spain beat Argentina. And Del Potro lost two incredible heartbreakers against Ferrer and then Nadal back-to-back. It was terrible for Argentina. But Spain recovered the cup. But in 2012, last year, the Czechs finally did it. They beat Serbia. So now they've lost one to Serbia, then beat them in the quarterfinals. Again, no Djokovic there. Then they beat Argentina in a tough one. And that was actually in Argentina, if I'm correct. Or was that in... Wait a minute, how did we read this? Yep, in Argentina. It was a great victory. What did we have? No Nalbandian. That hurt. Del Potro was a little tired there. He only played one rubber. So anyway, USA had the upstarts in 2012, upsetting the clay guys. Switzerland on clay and then the France on clay, but then they lost to Spain finally on clay. And Spain lost a heartbreaker without Nadal to the Czechs on a relative medium-fast surface. Anyway, so... And let's even go all the way back to 2009, and you will see, whoops, Spain's dominance is what you're about to see. If it actually goes over, why won't it go over? That's 2008. You see Spain winning over Argentina that year. Russia and the U.S. were in the semis. Russia was really good at one time, believe it or not. Here was an upstart Israel in the semis in 2009. That's when Dudy Sela was younger. Anyways, and Croatia was pretty good back in the day too. But the Czechs, look at that. They got all the way with Stepanek and Brdić back then as well. But Spain killed them. That was the Czechs' first final. So anyway, we've basically had Spain, the Czechs, Serbia in 2010, France in there a little bit, in the Argentina too. But Serbia in 2010, Spain again in 2011 over Argentina. And then in 2012, the Czechs over Spain. So to have Czechs in the Serbia now, they played in the quarters when the Czechs won. They played in the semis when Serbia won in 2010. And now they finally play in the finals. Serbia and the Czech Republic. Really fitting. Other than them, it's been Spain. It's been the team of the decades. But this is fitting to have these two. And it's going to be a great final. It doesn't matter the surface that much. It's just going to matter how the players are feeling. Because the Czechs are great at clay too. And they're both probably better at hard court, but... You know, Serbia will try to maybe slow it down a bit because of Brdić and Stepanek, which will be smart, but that if they slow it down too much, it's going to hurt, Djokovic and Tipsarevic. So, in the end, slow it down just a bit, but we'll see what will happen. You never know. Maybe they'll surprise and do an indoor hard court, but in the end, it's going to be about who's fit and who's playing well. Probably if Djokovic's there, it's going to be a Serbian victory. The new draw for 2014 is coming out on Wednesday of this week. As you see here, they got 2014 ready to go, but no draw yet. That'll be coming out on a Wednesday, and that is a Davis Cup 2013 wrap. See you for the final in November.